Could dinosaurs swim? Why are there fossil remains many times found with their necks and heads arched back in a spectacular death pose? What about Archaeopteryx, the supposed feathered dinosaur? Well, find out more on this episode of Wonders Without Number. Welcome to Wonders Without Number. I'm David Rives, and today we want to inform and inspire you regarding the wonders we find all around us. An infinite number of wonders that point us directly to our Creator, the God of the Bible. You are no accident. I want you to know that you're special, that you were created in God's own image, that Jesus Christ was and is that Creator, and that He has a plan for your life. Now, the book of Isaiah speaks of Leviathan as the dragon that is in the sea, and the book of Psalms tells us that ships go where Leviathan lives. What if I told you that 50-foot sea serpents with snake-like bodies and dinosaur-like heads have been found in the high plains of Kansas? I know, it's hard to imagine, but that's exactly what we're finding. Let's take a look right now. Not long ago, I participated in a paleontological excavation that was taking place in western Kansas. This area is known as the Niobrara Formation and contains hundreds of thousands of fossilized fish and other aquatic creatures. But besides many fossilized clams, the team found very large fish vertebrae and dinosaur fossils, including what appears to be portions of a mosasaur skull and a well-articulated scissor-tailsophanctinus. The mosasaur is thought to have been a marine predator dinosaur, and some fossils have been found reaching lengths of more than 50 feet. Well, the Bible gives reference to a creature that might have been similar in appearance. Leviathan was described as a seafaring dragon and was mentioned in Job, Psalms, and Isaiah. None is so fierce that dare stir him up, and a flame goeth out of his mouth. A dragon so large and unapproachable that we're told, upon earth there is not his like. Many dinosaurs went extinct around the time of Noah's flood, and the biblical record tells us that even the highest mountains were covered with water. This would explain why we see so many layers of sediment turned to stone, preserving the fossils of millions of animals all around the world. I'm David Rives. Truly, the heavens declare the glory of God. Do mosasaurs actually represent what the Bible describes as Leviathan? Well, there's no way to be certain. But one thing's for sure, as the psalmist states, none is so fierce that dare stir him up. If this creature was swimming around, I'd be staying out of the water. Speaking of water, what about the global flood in Noah's day? While evolutionary geologists readily admit thousands of regional floods, most deny a singular event that literally changed the face of the earth. Was there really a global flood some 4,000 years ago? The discovery of dinosaurs in Australia provides evidence, and we have with us the creation guy, John Mackay, to tell us all about it. Now, John studied geology at the University of Queensland, and over the last 30 years he's been involved with field research all around the world. He's an international speaker, lecturing on the subject of origins, and he's no stranger to university campuses, where he's participated in many debates regarding the subject of creation and evolution. Mackay has even been interviewed by Richard Dawkins, one of the most outspoken atheists of our day. So join with me now as we meet my friend and very special guest from Downunder. Welcome to the program, John.
G'day again, mate. Good to be back.
It's wonderful to have you back. Tell me just a little bit about your ministry and what you do.
Okay, I run creation research in Australia and creationresearchusa.org. I'm a member of that over here too. And we do dinosaur digs, we do fossil digs, we run an outdoor creation museum, and we end up in churches and schools being asked questions like, well, what is the evidence for creation?
Yes.
Or how do you deal with evolution?
Well, that's important, and it often comes up, and we need to have an answer because many times those in church pews they hear one story from their pastor, they hear another if they go to university or if they went to public school, and they don't really know what to believe. They say, well, surely the fellow teaching us in the universities is much more scientific than our pastor up in the pulpit, so shouldn't we believe him when it comes to science as opposed to our pastor?
That is a common attitude out there, Dave, and it's a real serious problem that sadly many pastors ignore to their detriment. Because I remember just recently a science teacher came to me and he said, I became an atheist because our church brought in speakers who said days don't mean days and Noah's flood is just a moral story. And I thought to myself with my scientific brain, if I can't even trust a little word like day, then I can't trust a little word like God. So I became an atheist.
Wow.
So that's the importance of this issue.
So it's very relevant, very important. And what we're talking about is, you can flip to the very first verse. It tells us, in the beginning, God created. So if you can't believe the very first verse of the Bible, if you can't believe that God is the creator, that he created with purpose, it wasn't just this random chance origins of mere atoms over the course of billions of years, then why should we believe the gospel? I mean, the whole scriptures comes into question if you challenge the very first chapter of the Bible.
You're right. And to give you the rest of the story, the reason that science teacher came to see me was he's now become a Christian.
Really?
And he wanted to tell us because of the creation research that had been done, and he wasn't even aware of it when he was a student.
Wow.
So this matters. So you keep up your good work. Pray for us as we keep up our good work. And let me ask you one question, since you need to have an answer. What is it?
It's a tooth.
It's a tooth, correct? From what dinosaur?
From what dinosaur? I don't know. Could it be like a raptor or something? What is this?
It's a mosasaurus.
Really?
Yes. So very famous, very sharp, and you're quite right. In the water with that, if it was still alive, you wouldn't stand much of a chance, because this guy could be very big indeed. And what's interesting is it illustrates one thing. We say mosasaurus, you say mosasaurus. Most of us haven't got a mosasaurus about what it means, right? We really don't know.
That's right.
But the interesting thing about geology is that it's actually organised common sense. So the first guys were largely sixth-day Noah's flood creationists. They were out there to name things because God told Adam to name things.
Right.
And so if you found these bones and teeth by the river Mose and it looked like a big reptile, you called it a mosasaurus, right?
Yeah.
And that's how it worked. I know one geologist who found a dinosaur and he named it after his wife. And his wife's name was Ava and he called it Avasaurus. And it was the ugliest looking thing you've ever seen. So I'm not sure she would have been too happy about that. But it's just common sense. You don't need to hide behind all this academic stuff. So the ordinary person out there is scared about this subject because they think, I don't know enough. Yes, God's given you a brain, He's given you eyes, you've got common sense, use it to His glory.